Welcome to Mav Essentials Live Spring Edition. Thank you all so much for joining us. We are so pleased that you have taken a few moments out of your evening to come and learn a little bit more information about how to help support your students through social isolation in terms of involvement and engagement on campus. And we have some really special guests on the line with us today that will help solidify any questions or concerns you may have, help address them, and also give you some insight on how students are doing on our campus. So I really hope that you find the information that we provide today insightful and helpful, because that's the whole purpose and point of the Mav Essentials Live e-series. I just want to point out and make sure that you all are aware that this session will be recorded. We have a really good following of folks that chime in, or even they view these videos after the session has ended. We try to find a comparable time throughout the day to meet everyone's needs, but you know, there are working families that work both in the daytime and in the evening, and so these virtual videos and the recordings are helpful for those families that aren't able to make it. So I do want to let you all know that it is being recorded. If you have a question or concern about that, please be sure to put a quick question in the chat, and I'll be sure to follow up with you after the session, okay? Perfect. All right. Quick overview. The purpose of the Mav Essential Live e-series is really a virtual toolkit for student success and Maverick Family Connection. This is an event for new and returning families. We started this in the fall of 2020, and you know, lo and behold, we put on 23 virtual events last year. When I tallied up all the numbers and did my mid-year report, I was astounded by the number of virtual opportunities that we gave to Maverick families, and the Mav Essentials Live e-series was one of them. It was a part of that. That large number, and we're so appreciative of all of your support throughout the fall semester, and we really hope that you gain more from our series in the spring. We really hope that this serves as supplemental learning to your new Maverick Orientation experience, and even if you came through new Maverick Orientation several years ago, it will serve as a refresher, or even it will give you more or better insight into all of the resources and services available to you and your student as they continue their college career at UTA. And then, you know, there's also, you know, it being a part of COVID-19.
You can come in.
Okay, there are some learning outcomes that we really hope that you gain from these sessions, from each series. We hope that you, as parents and family members, we hope that you're able to identify university resources and services to be able to help share that information with your students and other family members. We also hope that you're able to support your students' academic and personal concerns. Most parents and family members give us great ratings, but we really hope that you find the resources that we provide you during these sessions. We really hope that you find them helpful so that you can help support and guide your student along their journey. There will be some in-event questions that we ask you. There will be a short survey at the end. It's going to be in event, so a lot of it will happen during within the chat feature of this session. We've kind of played around with some different survey functions, and the chat feature seems to be the most consistent thing that we can do. So we will continue down that path to get real-time information directly from the participants. And then we will also send out an end of semester, end of series survey at the end in March, so that you can give us some specific insight on how well we did or what areas we can improve. It's always good to get feedback. We really value what you have to say. This doesn't work if we aren't hearing from our constituents, and our constituents within the Parent Family Center are our Maverick parents and family members. So we really hope that you provide feedback and your insight when it is asked of you. There are some virtual housekeeping rules. You know, we've been doing this for a while now. I feel like I'm a pro sometimes, but you know, I always get brought back to reality whenever I don't turn on my microphone or something like that. Or I have, you know, shoddy internet service. Brings us all back to reality, doesn't it? But we do have some virtual housekeeping that we want to share with you all. We do have some community rules for everyone that's on the call with us. We are all family, we're all Mavericks. And so we want to make sure that each of us, you know, keeps our comments and questions and concerns kind and respectful and general in nature. If you have a specific question or concern, almost all of our guests give contact information on how you can reach out to them if you have further questions or concerns. I would really encourage you to empower your student to utilize the resources and services you hear today and throughout this series. So jot down your questions if they're very specific in nature, and then we'll be sure to address them. But if they're general, ask away. We love questions. And I want you to know that we are here to help you. We do have some folks in the chat on my team that will help assist you with any questions or concerns that you may have. We have Zindi on the call with us this evening. Zindi is one of our student liaisons, and she's also a graphic designer for our department. So she'll be on the chat, checking it, making sure everything's all good. And she will address your questions. And we don't claim to know it all, but we do claim to know a lot of folks on campus, and we can certainly help redirect your question to the appropriate areas if we need it. Also, be sure to check your microphone. Be sure to ensure that your microphone is on mute whenever you are not speaking. There will be times within the presentation that we ask you to turn on your microphone and ask your questions or participate, but until then, be sure that it is on mute. And then, finally, we have to commemorate the experience. We have to make sure that we take a family photo of this, our very first spring virtual event, which is this Mav Essentials Live. So I'm going to actually ask you all to turn on your cameras right now so that we can take a family photo. We're going to take a quick snapshot. So I'm going to ask you to turn on your cameras, and then we're going to Mav up. And for those of you who are not familiar with how to Mav up, all you do is you have your palms facing the camera, and you put your 3 middle fingers down, and you're going to have your pinky up and your thumb up, and that is how we Mav up. Okay? All right. Hi, Mr. Sepulveda. How are you? Good to see you. All right, we're going to take a quick photo together. I'm going to count to 3. All right. Ready? Mav up. 1, 2, and 3. Mav up. Perfect. Thank you. I see you, Mr. Connor. Miss Connor, you got your student on the call. Bless you. Bless you. Love it. Perfect. Thank you all so much for that photo. And listen, you never know what it will show up on our marketing materials, on billboards, on, I don't know. We won't go billboard level, but you just never know where that photo will show up. Okay, now that we have our housekeeping out of the way, we're gonna get started. You know, I wanna give ample time for our special guests to give their insight into this topic of tackling social isolation through engagement, and give you ample time to ask any questions that you may have about how best to handle this. So without further ado, I do want to introduce Mr. Seth Russell. Seth is the Executive Director of the Office of Involvement and Engagement, and I'll let him introduce everyone else who is here on behalf of their department. Please help me welcome Mr. Russell. Give him a virtual hand clap. All right.
Yay!
Yay!
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you, Tasha. I appreciate that wonderful introduction, and I love a good photo. but at the beginning of a meeting. So you can't start much better than that. So I appreciate that. That was really wonderful. Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to all of you today. So yeah, I'm do a little share screen if that's okay, Tasha, and I'll run through a presentation that um, we've got here that might sort of guide us on our discussion today a little bit as we talk about this topic of getting involved and connected to campus, but especially as it relates to kind of in the context of today and all the things that we're faced with and challenged with today as it relates to COVID-19 and social distancing and isolation and some of those kinds of things. So give me one moment here to Tasha, as you said, we should be pros by now, but let's see if we can always make everything work. Never works when you want it to, right? Let's see. All right, screen share. It's thinking. Well, while that loads, I will take a brief moment and just sort of say a couple more things. So a little bit about sort of what I will take a moment and kind of introduce myself with some specifics and sort of who I am and what I do here at UTA and who's with me to take and talk about this topic. And we'll do some introductions here in just a second once the Teams decides to cooperate with me and I can get the presentation to load. But tonight we're going to talk about a few different things. One, we're going to talk a little bit about just sort of generally the experience of getting involved on campus. We're going to talk a little bit about what that experience looks like and sort of how to navigate through it in the world of COVID-19 and in our social distancing and what that looks like on campus today. We'll explore and talk a little about some of the benefits of getting involved on campus and how that really is impactful for a student, what those experiences can mean and look like. And then kind of walk you through some examples of some organizations and groups and things that a student could do on campus on a regular basis to get to know one another and become connected and involved to our campus community. And then we'll walk you through some steps and of course, take some Q&A. So feel free to ask any questions if anybody has any questions along the way tonight. Let's see, Tasha, I've got a little spinning wheel on my screen. What do you see? Are you seeing our pictures okay?
I see you guys okay.
Okay, you see us okay. Still no presentation loading then. Interesting.
Well, if you want to send it to me, I can load it up for you if you like.
I may just put it in the chat if that's okay, and if you don't
Yeah.
mind, just we'll try it not the old-fashioned way, but we'll just try it that way.
We'll try a new way because this is the COVID virtual meeting presentation way.
That's exactly right.
We're
as we have learned over the course of the last 8 months or so doing this, I was reflecting with some students who are part of student government this afternoon, and we were preparing for a training, and we were reflecting on how we were just several months ago wondering how we were going to be able to do some of the things that we were going to do. How we were going to handle some of the trainings and handle some of the experiences we have become in some ways very second nature in a lot of ways, but things that were just a real challenge for us to be able to do a few short months ago. And so it is interesting how time has progressed and how we have sort of come a long ways in terms of being able to manage things through technology that we often have struggled with. So give me 1 second, Tasha, I will send that to you.
Not a problem. Thank you all so much for your patience. We'll make sure that we get it on. Aurora, how are you today? Aurora.
I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm glad to be here and talk a little bit about what we are able to offer y'all's kids here at UTA. So, yeah.
Perfect. All right.
So yeah, so while I get this presentation, Roy, if you want to do a quick little introduction of yourself and who you are and what you do in your role with our office and some of that kind of thing.
So my name is Aurora. I work in the Office of Student Organizations. My position is the Maverick Involvement Team. And what that is, our whole goal and purpose is to better your child's experience here at UTA in the regards of finding an organization or a fit for them here. So we do that through various things. So we host mini fairs. Right now, we're actually in the works of doing consultations. So your student, well, your child can come and schedule an appointment and actually have a conversation with me to figure out what would be the best fit for them, or things that they're interested in, just to help them out, get them started when it comes to like connecting and finding organizations and contacts like that. So yeah, it's a pretty cool job.
That's great. Yeah, thank you for.
Arroya,
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. So that position that Roy is talking about is a relatively. Go ahead.
you're getting ready to explain it. I was going to say, what is that? I haven't heard that before.
Yeah, it's a relatively new group that we've started, and group probably is a stretch, a program that we've started as a way to really help people navigate through the experience of getting involved on campus that even in the best of times can sometimes be kind of an overwhelming experience for a lot of students. And so our Maverick Involvement Team is a group of students that works out of our student organizations office to really provide some support and resources for students to get involved in all different capacities and in all different areas. And so our Roy is a part of that team that is sort of was forming last year and is starting to grow as we sort of enter into this new year, and has found a new home, if nothing else, with our world of COVID-19 and social distancing. So, but yes, so in addition to that, so a little bit about myself also, as Tasha mentioned, I am the senior director for what we call as the area of involvement and engagement, and so that includes several different program areas, student activities, student organizations, our Follett Student Leadership Center, which includes our leadership and volunteer programs, as well as our student government. And so I have been at UTA for about 20 years and had a fantastic experience working with the students, helping to support and advise in a variety of different ways for people to get involved on campus. And so it's been a great experience here at UTA, and it's a wonderful campus for students to connect to and be a part of. A couple of things I do want to go ahead and I'll start talking a little bit about it as we get the presentation loaded, but the presentation isn't critical for parts of this, so I'll just give a little bit of perspective. Of course, getting involved on campus is something that under in any situation or any year, we would always say is an important experience. It is a way for a student to do a couple of different things. It's a way for them to establish some identity and connection with other people. It's a way for them to develop a sense of belonging and identity for themselves. It's a way for them to practice and develop some skills that they otherwise might not have always had, or put some skills to practice. So getting involved on campus, as I was saying, is always been a positive experience and something we always have encouraged students to do. But I think without a doubt, we can all agree that during our times of social distancing, there has been a greater need in some ways for that connection and belonging and interaction with other people. And while as an institution, we have tried very hard, as Tasha mentioned, the lengthy list of virtual programs that Parent Family Center offered last year, we've been doing much of those same things within those involvement and engagement areas and areas across campus. And so while we have not had that opportunity for a lot of the traditional face-to-face interactions, as an institution, we are doing our best to try to provide virtual opportunities for students to still interact, connect, and get to know one another, developing relationships and building friendships that allow people to navigate through the institution in a more comfortable and inviting way. And so even in the best of times, getting involved is always something we would strongly encourage people to do. And I think without a doubt, in times like this, that has become even more important for many students to feel a connection, an identity, and a belonging with one another to take and help navigate some of the circumstances and situations. And so beyond some of those initial needs, what we think we can also definitely talk a lot about is there's a lot of benefits that a student gets from getting involved on campus beyond just the obvious sort of making friends, having fun, and getting to know people. But there is some really concrete skill development that starts to occur by a student being involved on campus. Tasha, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. And that skill development becomes something that is really pretty important. Tasha, would you like me to do the control of it, or do you want to move it? I'll let you do it if you want. So there's our introduction. There are contact information, which I also have at the end of the presentation. So if you want to scribble that down or write that down, or we can put it in the chat if anybody has any interest in needing to get in contact with Arroya or myself. But anyways, as I was saying, getting involved on campus has some real skill development that's connected to it as well. And so that becomes an important part of getting involved. And in some ways, some real strong benefits for students to think about getting involved and connected on campus. And in today's world, there's that added benefit of just moving past the social isolation that can sometimes occur during our virtual environments in our virtual world. I tell you what, Tasha, I'm going to hit the little request control button. I think I can advance it. Is that okay?
Yeah. Let me get you.
Cool. I can just click through it this way if that works.
That works for me. If you want to expand it.
Okay. Nothing better than watching your little round head bounce across the screen.
Nothing better.
No, nothing better. But those skills that someone can develop and those experiences that someone can have are really critical. And getting involved and becoming a part of the campus community is one of those things that, let's see if it'll move for me. Well, not having much luck. Tasha, if you don't mind just clicking me through to a couple of slides, there's one that talks about sort of some benefits, and that'll just sort of help us kind of get to where we are, and then it becomes a little more relevant and connected to what we're talking about, okay?
Try it again.
Okay.
I gave it your name. No? Okay.
No, sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
But those some of those skills that employers look for when you graduate, those skills that people look for in leaders and to be involved and connected to things on campus can provide this living laboratory for some of those things to happen. And of course, getting connected on campus and getting involved, it develops a connection to the campus. There's some friendships and things to do, of course, but there's also, communication skills that have the opportunity to be practiced. The chance to work with a diversity of different people in different kind of settings and environments that don't always happen the same way outside of the classroom as they do in the classroom. So teamwork and critical thinking skills and a self-awareness are all the types of experiences that someone gets to sometimes unknowingly to themselves develop while they're involved as a student on campus and move a student through that natural experience of growing and developing as a student. And what we are sort of hoping that they are able to do is develop themselves in a holistic way to become that well-rounded student leader and engaged student in our campus community and in the community at large. You can go to the next one. So, as I was saying, these skills that employers are looking for are and this is from National Association of Colleges and Employers. And so they're looking for students. While students can develop a lot of these skills, these are the things that people are looking for as employers. And so there's a direct correlation and value there that these skills that a student can develop while being involved and being a part of things, those are some of the same types of skills that employers are looking for when a student goes to graduate. Organizational experience and involvement gives them the opportunity to talk about these things in real world experiences and in real world ways. And so we want to make sure that experience sort of continues and persists. Go to our next one. And of course, our current environment, social distancing, COVID-19, virtual learning, the lack of some of the face-to-face experiences in this boom of online experiences has kind of made this challenging in a lot of ways. I think without a doubt, the experience of a student walking across campus is drastically different right now, with many of our students being remote or virtual. And so there's a different way that we have to start to connect and explore these things. In some ways, many of our students have expressed and explained and described as they have to be really intentional about getting involved in things. They have to be really intentional about engaging with people and expanding their social networks outside of. And that's really difficult right now with social distancing and masks and a lot of the things that we have going on. And so it's important to encourage all of our students to safely and responsibly experience some of those things that are in person, albeit very limited, but take full advantage of many of those virtual experiences. And as I was mentioning earlier, and as Tasha was mentioning earlier, the number of online and virtual things are really pretty robust, but you have to look for them because some of those traditional ways that we have engaged with students on campus are not there quite the same way. Most of us had probably walked across campus and seen something like a bulletin board. And that's a great way to learn about all the student organizations and groups that we have. And that doesn't have the same feel as it does today. And so that intentionality has to be done. And there's some things we're going to talk about here at the end of the presentation that can help sort of open the doors to accessing some of that information of things that are going on. But when we talk about getting involved on campus, and Arroyo is going to give you a little bit of some descriptions about some of these specific groups, we're talking about all kinds of experiences. Everything from, being in a student organization, which is what most people sort of identify with a student involvement and that student experience, but it's being a part of a sports club or connecting with multicultural affairs, being a resident assistant, or even just running in campus elections. Student government is a great way for a student to take and learn about some of the navigating of the policies and procedures and advocating for themselves and for others. Taking your point of view from a micro view to a macro view is the kind of thing that students get to experience through those organizations like student government. But even things like student employment, we encourage students to work on campus, and the opportunity to just work on campus can be a very valuable way to connect to the campus, to learn about resources, to meet people, participate in shared experiences, and develop a lot of those skills that we were talking about employers look for. So when we talk about getting involved on campus, it can really be an extremely wide variety of types of experiences that a student might have or be a part of. It isn't always joining a student organization. It could be much more robust or simplified in a lot of ways. You can go to the next one, please. So if we think about student involvement, though, from the other perspectives, and if we go to the next slide, you'll see that I think what we can really kind of start to think about is the student experience, and what does the student experience look like? And there's a couple of different pieces. If you want to click this, I think 3 or 4 times, Tasha, for me. Often a student comes to campus and participates in things. They become a member of an organization. They are involved as a leader, but we ultimately want to see them develop as a leader and be a real influencer in that experience. And so the student experience kind of runs this spectrum of sorts. One more click, Tasha, for me. It kind of really develops this experience of what a full student spectrum can look like. And I think what's important when we talk about students getting involved, the same way that getting involved doesn't always have to be joining an organization, that student experience doesn't always have to be about being, student body president or homecoming queen, or, being the most involved student. It can happen all along this spectrum. But our goal is to see students graduate, fulfill those dreams that they have, and really have this student experience that helps to develop them as a robust student leader and as an influencer. And so getting connected and getting involved on campus can not only aid in some of these experiences students are having, looking and needing some social interaction, aiding in social isolation, and helping to take and support one another in this times of COVID. It also has these terrific learning and developmental opportunities for it as well, to help students achieve those goals and go on and become successful influencers and leaders in the community. Next. So I'll hand it over to Arroyo and let her talk a little bit about specifically sort of this area of involvement and engagement, and talk about some of these organizations and groups that are kind of closely involved with what we do, because I think it gives some context for some specific ways that students can get involved, and specifically even, in the times that we are in today with a lot of virtual experiences. So Arroyo?
Did we lose Arroyo?
Arroyo, are you there?
Do y'all hear me?
Never fails. Oh, there you are. Yeah, I hear you now.
Can you see me too?
We don't see you, but we can hear you.
Okay, I apologize for that. Wi-Fi
It's okay.
issue.
We understand.
Okay, I can see everything. I'm not sure why y'all can see me, but I can actually keep going and talking about it.
We can see you now.
Okay, we can go to the next slide.
We can see your smile.
Awesome. So in the involvement engagement branch, we actually have 5 different categories of things. So we have the Follett Student Leadership Center, student activities, student governance, our student organizations, and then fraternity and sorority life. So I'm going to go through, we'll talk about what each of those branches have to offer your kid. So, next slide, please. Okay. So in student governments, this is home of student government in the UTA ambassadors. So student government is the voice of the student body population, right? So whether it's putting more things on campus that the students need, or different resolutions and things like that. We have a judicial, legislative, and executive branch, just like we would in a normal government. Each of them handle different things. So our senators, they handle resolutions and bills, things of that nature, when it comes to maybe adding more water fountains or putting different things in the vending machine, stuff like that. And then our judicial branch, they handle elections, state elections, and also in-campus elections as well. And then we have our executive branch. So that will be like our president, the president of the university, the student body president. And then the ambassadors, the ambassadors are the official host and hostess of the university. Their main job is to promote pride and tradition here at UTA, and then also promote the Maverick way. It's a set of core values that we think that all Mavericks should live by. A couple of them would be like diversity, inclusion, wellness, integrity, things of that nature. But they also help, they do fun events. So we have like Founders Day, when the university was founded, and then we do like Math Swap, where the students will bring us a shirt from a different college or their high school, and we'll swap it out with a brand new UTA shirt. So things like that. That's what student governance does. Next, we have the Follett Student Leadership Center. So here we have a lot going on. We have UTA volunteers. That group, they're all about volunteering, right? So you can choose what type of volunteer service you will want to do. So if it's working with the homeless, you can do that. If it's working with the elderly, you can do that, or animals, things like that, which is really awesome. And then we have alternative breaks. So alternative breaks, they go to different places and they do service during our winter breaks or our summer breaks and weekends. I know right now it's a little bit different because of COVID, but that's their thing. It's pretty cool. They go to places throughout the United States, so they get to travel and stuff like that. And then we have Flock, our freshman leaders on campus. This organization is for freshmen to develop their leadership skills and things of that nature. So it really just helps them with the transition from high school into college as well. And then we have the UTA Food Pantry. We partner with Tri-C across from our campus, and that's where we do food donations and distributions with students who need food on campus and then around as well. And then we have our Leadership Honors Program. So that is a program where they give you a set of things to do throughout your time here at UTA that would help you develop as a leader. And then there's levels and things like that for you to graduate to. And then you graduate out of the program, but they will have you do things like go to a talk or be a small group leader, things like that, to encourage you to develop your leadership skills. This is a program that is open to almost everyone. You just have to, there is a small membership fee at the beginning. It's a one-time thing. I'm actually a member of that one, so I really like it as well. And then we have the leadership retreat. It's a fall leadership retreat. So, and I think it's like somewhere between August and November. We basically go out to the woods and a couple of the students, and we just do different things to help people develop as a leader. So we have awesome speakers come in. We have different activities and stuff like that. You get to network with people that you normally wouldn't get to network with. We actually did do that last semester. We did it virtual, and it actually was just as awesome as it was in person. So which is nice because of virtual things sometimes have a negative connotation. So for that one to be like so successful and students enjoy it just as much, it was great. Next slide. So student activities, this is home of the big event, which is a day of service. So we have over 1,000 students get together and we go to different locations in groups and we do service. So you could be at a elementary fixing up a playground, or you could be making blankets out of plastic bags for the homeless. So it's a really nice day. At the end, we have a huge celebration. We are actually doing that this semester, just with a little bit of twist, a little zing, something a little bit different, but it's going to be just as awesome. And then we have Excel Campus activities. So they just like host like the most extravagant and fun activities, right? This is where you go to relax, have a good time with your friends. They host movies. If I'm correct, last semester they did like a drive-in movie theater setup. So everyone was social distance in their cars, but you got to come and watch movies. Some things they were doing pre-COVID, a foam party, the homecoming bash was like a huge concert. But even in COVID right now, they're doing so much virtual things. Like right now, actually at 4 and 5, they had this huge giveaway for people for students to partake in. So that's awesome as well. And then we have our homecoming, which we did have last semester, but we're doing the court this semester. So at homecoming, we have things like Paint Your Ride, which Flock is in charge of. So they will kind of just like decorate your car with UTA colors and happy homecoming, things like that. And a horse is pretty nice. And then we do the homecoming street parade. That's just like a pre-event before the homecoming game in the court, where we have food, painting, face paint, things of that nature. So next slide. So here at UTA, we have over 350 plus organizations. That's awesome to me. It's like, it's literally nothing you can't find, right? That the students can't find. And if they really can't find what they want, they can create it. So, and they only need 8 people. So that's pretty cool as well. Here, this is where they get their posting approval, get their poster approved, and then outdoor space reservations, and then also the advising opportunity. So kind of they can meet with, I think, Seth and a couple of other members of that office, and it will help them if they have questions about how to recruit better, or how can I manage my money better, or how can I make more money, things like that. So our office is awesome. And then also that is our email and website, themapworks.uta.edu. Next slide. Okay, so here is what the website will look like when you go. If you are going as a parent, you don't have a login, but you can still navigate the website and see how it works. So at the top, you can see the tab where it says home, events, organizations, news, and forums. So you are still able to see what's going on campus. If your child is like, I have nothing to do, and you go and you see the event and you're like, well, actually Excel is having a little thing tomorrow at 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. So the website is very informative. Next slide. Okay, so right here, this is what your child's view will look like. So if they're a part of any organization under the membership tab, that's where they will see all the different things that they are part of, and then also the events. The website is very easy to navigate. So if they are looking for an organization, and I know we have 350 plus organizations, and that can seem so overwhelming, right? Just hearing that number. But the website does a very good job at breaking it down into categories, so you're able to go through if you're looking for a certain type of thing. Yeah. Next slide.
You know, Arroyo, I think one of the things about Mavworks that I'd love to share real quick that I think is, that within that Mavworks site that anybody can access is exactly what you were describing, sort of like just that list of organizations to really sort of see the variety of those groups and many of those events. Now, one thing about the events that you will sort of understand is an organization, when they create an event and put an event out there, sometimes it can be public or sometimes it can be not public. And so it's possible that if you were logging in or if you were going to the page to view events, you might not see them all if they were sort of closed to members of the campus community if you're unable to log into the website. But what Mavworks also allows a lot of our groups to do, those events can take them to some virtual links. And so one of the things that we've seen, of course, with a lot of popularity and necessity this past year is the need for virtual events. So calls like this, events done through Zoom or Teams or countless of other platforms. I feel like every time there's always a new platform, another thing to take and do a video call with. And so these events can be created and they can take students directly to those links. So I think sometimes it's one of those kinds of situations that, it's a little harder to stumble upon things that are going on campus. But through this site, you can start to have some of that experience. If you visit it with some regularity, see an event that is of interest to you, click on it, and then many of those events will have links that will take you directly to the virtual experience of the event as well. One of the things that we're doing this next week, so a week from yesterday, at the beginning of every fall and spring semester, we have Activity Fair Day. And I know it's one of my favorite events that we do on campus because it is one of those rare times where there are so many different types of groups all together. Roy, if you know what I'm talking about, on Activity Fair Day, typically there's just such a unique energy on campus because there are so many different types of groups. And we're doing our best to recreate that through this virtual experience. And so a student can come into MavOrgs next Wednesday when it's Activity Fair Day, and there'll be that header at the top of it that is a virtual involvement fair that a student can click to, and we will have a great many of our organizations will be sort of live and at that time connected, and you can click into the room and go meet people that are part of that organization or group there in real time. And so we're doing that during the day next Wednesday and in the evening next Wednesday to try to give some variety for when that event can occur. But that starts to recreate some of that experience and a way for students to just meet and talk to people. One of the things we've heard from a lot of students is they just don't know where to meet people and how to sort of, just sort of strike up the conversation about an organization or a group. And an event like this that takes place next Wednesday is really a close opportunity for someone to do that, where they can, kind of just scroll through the list of organizations, click on a link, and it takes them directly to members of that organization that are essentially waiting there in a virtual room to visit and meet and learn and talk about what their organization has to offer. So I wanted, a little bit there, there's Aurora's and contact information, but I want to take some time to see if there's any questions about anything that's going on, if there are any observations, issues, or concerns, or specific information that we might be able to provide about a student getting involved on campus and how to sort of navigate some of the social isolation that can sometimes occur on campus, and how that involvement experience can be a way to take and help counteract that. So I'd love to open up for any questions that anybody might have.
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
Ms. Wallace, did you all say that we could actually make our students aware of you so that he can reach out to you? Because he was very actively involved in high school, but there's nothing and it's mute now. So I think that because he's an introvert, I think that if I can make the connection or something, it might be more helpful. Even though he was active, he's still an introvert. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
feel
he
free
needs that
to.
push. He needs that push.
Yes, ma'am. That's why we're here. Feel free to give him my contact information. And yeah.
Okay, we'll do.
Yeah.
That's a really, a lot of introverts. Some introverts have loved this time and some have hated it. But I think, one of the challenges during this sort of social isolation is that, if you're naturally introverted, it's sort of hard to put yourself out there. But yes, that Arroya and or any others in that Maverick involvement team. And also just, encourage them to explore that MavOrgs page a little bit if there's sort of a balance of the individual, but sometimes, yes, talking to someone like Arroya is great to kind of give that nudge.
Also, one great thing I know as parents and family members, whenever when we nudge a little too hard, we might get the cold shoulder. And so one of the things that I want to make sure that I am encouraging you as their parents and family members to continue is just to continue to find different routes to communicate with your student about how much you are supporting them and you're behind them. And so it may come in many different forms as you have learned over the years in rearing them, that it isn't just you that can share the information. So if there's something, if you're feeling like they are disconnecting and they're going inward, and you've tried to have conversations with them or tried to get them to get connected and involved, you might solicit the support of a family member, a different family member or a friend, or even contact Arroya, and we can kind of do some outreach to them, and Seth and his team, so that we can do some outreach to them and get them connected and involved. But sometimes family isn't just our immediate family. Family is everyone that your student considers family. And so maybe just sending or shooting those folks a text of upcoming events, and making it a part of their radar so that they can pass along information as well.
You know, Tasha, I'd love to offer this as well. And this has been the kind of thing that is not uncommon for us to do in our office. And I know you do some of the same kind of thing. You know, we've had students or family members that have sort of, you know, arranged for times for someone to come meet and just allow and show them around. I think that sometimes is very helpful for a student who might be, you know, introverted or just kind of not quite sure where to go. You know, as many of these experiences that we've talked about today are located in the lower level of our building of the University Center. And so if you want to see it in person, you sometimes have to look for it. And so it's not uncommon for us to have people that either call and we're happy to take and meet with people and show them around. And I have had parents or family members that have, you know, sort of guided a student to our office, and we have, you know, introduced them and shown them around and very quickly hand them off to a fellow student or a peer, and it's like, you know, they'd been best friends. And so it's the kind of thing that a lot of our space is designed to be able to do, to really help with some of that. And it's different right now, but that's really what the ultimate intent and design is to do. So we're happy to take and do that kind of thing as well.
Yeah, we can do it virtually as well. And Seth, I echo what you say. I have a lot of moms saying, I want you to go meet Miss Tasha. Don't leave campus without going to go see her. And I do the very same thing. We'll do a campus little walk around, and I'll share with them the important areas that they need to make sure that they tap into, based on our brief conversation. So we're all here to support your student and help them navigate this new journey that they're in, not just because they are incoming freshmen or sophomores or transferred in, but because we're all navigating this whole COVID thing the best way that we possibly can. Are there any other questions?
Absolutely.
That was a good question. Any other questions? Okay. That just means, Seth, you all did an awesome job. Please give.
We fumbled through it.
I would like for you all to give Seth and Arroya a virtual round of applause for their time and effort this evening. I really appreciate you both. You know, coming and talking and sharing information about your resources and services means the world to our families, I know, and I'm sure that you'll be getting a few calls after this.
Well, we would love it and be happy to help in any way. It's you know, and I think one of the things we didn't even talk about is sometimes it's a unique experience as parents or as guardians. We don't even understand what all of that experience really means about getting involved in things. And so sometimes you hear language and conversations and things that you're not quite sure about. And we're happy to take and help navigate through those kinds of things also.
Perfect. All right. Well, I'm going to finish up with our call here. We have a couple of announcements. Thank you all so much. Seth, you can stay on for questions at the end in case we have some shy folks that don't want to ask in the main group.
Absolutely.
Can you all see my screen? Yes, perfect. All right. So I do want to make sure that if we have some new folks on the call with us today, I want you all to know that there is a program and service that is specifically designed for you, parents and family members, and it's called the Maverick Parent Family Association. We do hope that you reach out to the Parent and Family Center and get connected with our office so that you're able to get real-time information, discounts to the UTA bookstore. You're also part of the Maverick discount program as well. There's scholarship opportunities out there, in particular for Maverick Parent and Family Association members, for your students. Because of your philanthropic support, we're able to give away 3 $800 scholarships every semester to your students, and it's random draw, it's no essay, and the application takes less than 5 minutes to complete. Now, you can't beat that. You can't beat that. And you get all of those perks as members of the Maverick Parent Family Association. So please be sure to encourage your student, and you all go ahead and go out there and grab a membership. You can get everything that you need from our Maverick Family eShop. It's a one-stop shop for everything related to Maverick Family Connection. You can go on and buy membership, purchase a membership at 1 year or 4 year level. Do know that our membership fees are in discussion. We have a proposal in to increase the fees, so you want to make sure that you jump in at the current level, get grandfathered in before they increased. We have not had a fee increase since the inception of the department in 2007. So I think it's time, don't you? I think so. You also can buy Maverick Family merchandise. We have some really cool, cute parent and family Maverick mom and dad t-shirts and more. You can also go online and purchase tickets to upcoming events that we have. You also can give additional gifts to the Maverick Parent and Family Fund or the Maverick Parent and Family Scholarship Fund. Additional gifts can be in whatever form that you want. You can give additional $5 or $500,000. We would love that. You also can go online and purchase our featured personal development book for parents and family members. It's You're on Your Own, but I'm Here If You Need Me, by Marjorie Savage. It's a great read. We are starting a book club for that here next week, I believe, and we really hope that you tap into that. Here are a couple upcoming events. We do have session 11. Today's session is session 12. We had to postpone session 11 until the 2nd of February. That will be held at 6:00 p.m. And that session is called Helping Your Students Advocate for Their Academic Needs. There will be another session on the 4th of February with Fraternity and Sorority Life. We will begin our Maximize Your Membership Mondays. It's a Facebook Live event that will be this coming Monday on the 25th at noon. And then we have a couple other sessions after. We also have the virtual book club, as I mentioned to you all earlier. I got mixed up here, sorry. The virtual book club mocktail hour. That mocktail hour will begin on the 27th, which is next week. And then we'll have 2 other sessions before Parent and Family Weekend. During Family Weekend, which is on the 27th of February, we will be having a Maverick Family fundraiser where we will feature the author of our selected book for this semester. Marjorie Savage will be with us during Parent Family Weekend. And it is also an opportunity for you to give back to the Parent Family Center and to your students as well. So we really hope that you tap into that event. It's going to be a great one. All right, I'm almost done. I just have a few questions for you. A quick check for you all. Quick round of show of hands. How many of you all attended sessions last fall? It'd be great to see your faces too. Did any of you all attend the events last fall? You can raise your hand or you can turn on your cameras and wave your hand. Yes, hello, Mr. Sepulveda. Santiago, nice to see you. All right. The next question that I have for you all, hello. The next question I have for you all is, what did you learn during today's session? You can throw it in the chat or you can turn on your microphone and just let us know what you learned. And then right on top of that, if you can just share, Any information that you learn that you will share with your student or family members, will you go ahead and share it with them, or is this something that you'll keep to yourself and use it on a rainy day, or whenever you feel that your student may need it most? Throw it in the chat, or you can turn on your microphones and let us know how you're feeling. It just allows us to have a quick pulse of how well we did, and if this information that we had was informative for you and your family. All right. Well, if there is nothing else, I'll stay on just a few minutes after if you have any questions or concerns. And I'm sure Seth and Arroya will as well. We'll be online. If not, please reach out to the UTA Parent and Family Center. We are here for you and your family. Listen, E-Series is defined as the essential information that engages, educates, and encourages the entire family. So make sure that you pop on to visit with us for all of the events that are upcoming, because it's for you and for your benefit. We really hope to see you at the next family-centered event. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you and goodbye.